you're affirming, to me, affirming is thinking your new thoughts. That is what affirming is in your mind. And you're scripting or you're visualizing, you're doing all of the above, but yet nothing's changing. So let's talk about this. Hey everyone, my name is Kim Velez. I am a conscious life and success coach, former trauma therapist, where I worked with vets, first responders, PTSD survivors, and many other amazing souls in my 11, 12 year of, being a therapist. And now I get to help people in a really different way that I love, that lights me the fuck up. And I am just here to empower you. So thank you for joining if you're new. And of course, if you're not new, thank you for coming back. As always, I love you all and I appreciate you. So let's dive into this. You're affirming, you're scripting, you're visualizing, you're doing all the things, all these techniques, and yet you're noticing constantly that 3D is not moving. You're noticing constantly that everything is staying the same, that shit isn't changing. Why is that? Well, we know there's a time delay. So the work is, right, we're moving from a version of ourselves who doesn't have what they want and doesn't believe that what they want is inevitable into the new version, i.e., what Neville calls wish fulfilled, into the version of you that, no, this is who I have what I want. So how am I different, right? Where is my focus and observation and attention going? Well, here's what the problem is. Most of you are still allowing the outside world to control you and program you. So when we're kids, the outside world did program us because we didn't have the part of our mind developed, your conscious mind, your thinking mind, to say, hold up, no, I just because this happened doesn't mean I'm not worthy. It wasn't developed. So we were not able to think like that and to block and prevent whatever was going on in the outside world to program us and influence us as kids. So once that brain developed, we were already programmed. So now, as adults, because that part of our brain is developed and has been for quite a while, you're training yourself a new skill set, which is how to fucking think. Most people don't know how to think. I don't know if they still teach us in school. When I went to school, we learned critical thinking. Most people do not know how to think. And the society we live in currently does not support people thinking in a good, healthy way. And we see that from the evidence of a lot of types of people that go viral and the types of content. I'm not saying all, I never generalize. Well, I don't want to say never because that's generalizing. I typically don't generalize. But when we look at mainstream, right? When you look at YouTube, the videos that have the most viral views, when you look at the programs on TV, what is still running, the types of show that are running, it's drama, it's toxic usually, or it's just garbage. And it's not even garbage in a negative way, right? It's just things that don't support us and evolving and thinking at a higher level. So that tells you where most people are in the world, unfortunately, right? Now, obviously, we create our own reality. So I am consciously choosing a different story so that I help up level the people in the world to stop fucking being drawn and attracted to that kind of stuff. And listen, none of us were taught this. Most people aren't awakened, unfortunately, and they're just caught in this auto programming. And so they're drawn to that stuff. And we do need distractions sometimes in life. We want breaks from thinking so much, but there's still different ways to have that where it's not programming your mind with garbage, with toxic beliefs, with things that don't promote us awakening and evolving and growing in a better version of ourselves. So when we're understanding that, then we really, okay, say, okay, well, this makes sense. I wasn't taught how to think for my best interest. They didn't teach us in school, definitely. They don't teach you in college. I mean, I went to college for I got 2 degrees. I got a bachelor's and a master's degree. They don't teach you how to think. They do not teach you, or let me say, they don't teach you how to think in ways that support you evolving and growing. You learn the topics they want to teach you, and they teach you their way of what they think is the way to think. So, because we don't know how to think better for ourselves, you have to train yourself and develop this skill set of mastering your mind. Neville was clear. Neville said very fucking boldly and clearly multiple times in his readings. And for those of you that haven't read him, I really suggest you do. You can go on Amazon and get his complete reader. It's like 25 bucks. It's about this thick and it has all his teachings and all his lecturing so you can start understanding this information instead of even listening to me and other people because most people haven't read him that are teaching about him, and even the ones that have read him, how many times have they really read him? We can read something once or twice, doesn't mean we got it. Right. And then intellectually understanding ideas is very different than implementing and internalizing ideas. So just because we know something intellectually doesn't mean we actually know it. So these are the things, again, when you learn how to develop the skill set to think different, to think in a higher state of awareness, you understand this, right? It's not judging, it's understanding. Well, and listen, because I was a therapist for so fucking long, because I coach people, because I do my own personal development and spiritual work, I'm training myself and have up leveled my skill set of mastering my mind. And I continue doing the work on myself. So it gets better and better. It gets easier for me. I'm able to really understand and know things on a deep level. And then because of that, I get that reflection in my 3D reality. So a lot of you, when you're understanding and learning law of assumption and you start the process, you don't know something internally yet. It is not internalized in you. When something's internalized in you, it's programmed in you, it's automatic. It's an automatic knowing of your being something rather than, I know of a concept, but I am not implementing it. I am not it. I am not the concept. So there's a difference in that. So how do we break that down? In the sense of, I know that I want to know that I'm worthy. I know that I am deserving of things, but it's not who I am. I am not someone who feels and believes and knows on a deep level that she actually is deserving of things. Because if you did, then you would manifest what you want and you wouldn't settle for less than what you really believed and knew that you deserved. So, do you see the difference? Intellectually, we can know of things and be aware of things, but it doesn't mean it is who we are. It doesn't mean that we've internalized it and we show up based off that knowing, acting from that belief system because it's not your true belief system. So all of this work is overcoming any limitations in your mind and your beliefs that tell you you can't have what you want. It's really that simple. Neville said it was simple. And let me go back to what he said. He said, when you learn to master your mind, you can lay to rest any and all techniques. You won't need the techniques to master your mind. The people are using the techniques because they don't know how to stop their thoughts. They don't know how to shift. That's the techniques are helping them do all of that. So even me saying that, I don't think is accurate. It's just I think what it is, it tends to be a lot, is people give up their power to the techniques. They think the technique is something magical, and all the technique is doing is training your skill set to become better of mastering your mind. So it's one way to master your mind. It's not the only way. So the techniques are good in that sense, right? They work in that sense, but a lot of you give up your power to techniques and think, well, I have to only do this and I have to try this technique because nothing's working. The answer is never outside of us. The answer is always inside of us. And whenever you find yourself seeking an answer outside of you or seeking the solution outside of you, well, then you know you've given up your power. You know that you're not mastering your mind. You know that you're not really being the concept that everyone is you pushed out. You're not being the concept of I am the creator of my reality. You're not being the concept of someone who knows that the solution is within them because everything's a reflection to you. So it's never outside of you. It comes from you. And then you get the reflection back outside of you. So a lot of you still are allowing, and listen, I'm not standing up here on a pedestal looking down saying all of you, right? No, fuck that, because I have to work on this every day. That's what mastering your mind is you're mastering your mind every day. You have to master your mind daily. It isn't with certain things, right? And it's being aware of, even when you reprogram yourself to believe something new, there will still be other experiences you have and other beliefs that may be preventing you from manifesting the next level of your life and what you want for yourself. I mean, that's why this is so fun. That's why it's a game, because you know what to do and you just keep doing it and you keep looking within for the answer and solution, and keep knowing that all I have to do is keep reprogramming my mind and training my mind by mastering it, developing that skill set to control the focus. That when the focus is going elsewhere, the focus is focusing on a story or observing 3D circumstances or past, where I'm living in an internal mindset and belief and state that says I'm not going to get what I want, well, then I shift the focus. That's what the skill set is redirecting the mind, where you control the mind rather than the mind's controlling you. So that's what mastering your ship is about. That's what mastering your mind is about. So then when we look at, a lot of you are still allowing 3D to control you. A lot of you are allowing your circumstances to program you. You're giving up your power every time you're looking at 3D and you're saying, oh my God, nothing's changed. It's getting worse. I'm not getting what I want. This shit doesn't work. Well, no, it's just it hasn't caught up yet. It doesn't mean it isn't working. But when you look outside of you and you say, outside of me is the solution, and the solution showing me I'm not getting what I want, that nothing's changed, well, then you've totally given up your power and you've allowed the 3D to fucking control you and to program you. And that is what the work is. That is what evolvement is to not give up your power, is to be firm in your power. And being firm in your power is mastering your mind. Being firm in your power is reprogramming your mind through repetition until you know and believe different things that you didn't know and believe before. Mastering your mind, to being in your power, is someone who trusts in the unseen, that they understand that if I want something different, I will be something different and therefore will receive something different. It's not, I'm going to do this technique for the next 30 days. And if I don't get anything different, then that means it didn't work. So I'm stopping. I'm going to try this. I'm going to work on my self concept so I get what I want outside of me. And then you do it for 2 weeks and you still feel like shit and nothing's changed outside of you. And then you give up. Well, no. And a lot of us have to go through this because we don't, like I said, intellectually, you understand. Like, I always get comments and I love it when people tell me, like, I found you like 2 years ago or a year ago, and I didn't want to listen to you about self-concept. And so then I went with these other coaches and I did what they said, the ones that are teaching you to like focus only on SP and changing the story of SP. And they found a year later, 2 years later, they still feel unworthy. They still don't know their worth and value. They still feel insecure. They feel like shit. Their circumstances don't sustainably last in a favorable way at all. Nothing's really moved for them. And they're tired of feeling like shit for themselves. And I love those clients because they get it. They finally fucking get it, where they're like, you know what? I don't want to feel like shit about myself anymore. If SP is a mirror to me, then I'm over here worried about, changing how he sees me, but I haven't even focused on changing how I see myself. And if he's a true mirror to me, then that's the answer, because once I change how I see myself, it has to be reflected back to me. So that's the main foundation of it all. So those people get it. Those people understand, okay, so when I'm reacting to 3D, because we are human and it's a process of transformation. So it isn't beating yourself up when you do react to 3D and you give up your power, but it's being aware that you're doing it. Self-awareness is huge, guys. A lot of people don't have self-awareness, which is why they stay stuck in their lives. I know people in my own life that, Jesus Christ, their entire life, they refuse to have any self-awareness. And when you don't have self-awareness, you don't grow and evolve, and you keep manifesting the same cycles over and over and the same experiences, because you're not willing to look at you. You're not taking your part in how you created this experience. You're not willing to understand, well, what was going on in my mind that I responded that way, reacted that way? What was going on in my mind that I saw this person this certain way? What was going on in my mind of the story of me and how I'm showing up in my life, right? All of it's intertwined. And so when we don't do that, we have very little self-awareness, if no self-awareness. So then if you don't understand what's going on in you, nothing's going to change outside of you, because everything's a reflection to you. So you have to have self-awareness to understand when you're reacting to 3D and you're giving up your power and you're still allowing your circumstances to control you. You're still allowing it to program you. And every time you do that, you reinforce that part of your mind, the neural pathway that has already been developed, that is lighting up constantly, that says you're not getting what you want. And so the work by mastering your mind, by having self awareness, by seeking the solution within you, by thinking the new thoughts, by training your mind to focus on a new story until you believe it and know it. That's what the work is. Because you stop lighting up that neural pathway that's associated with that belief, and you're killing it off, and you're lighting up a new pathway. So think of it as two roads. If you're used to driving on this left road, and this road is the path of pain, emotional suffering, you not getting what you want, heartbreak, anxiety, insecurity, like all the yucky shit, right? And every day you get in your car and you fucking drive down that road, well, you're going to keep experiencing that because you keep choosing that path. You keep only going down that path. But then you see one day, there's a new path over here I can take my car and drive in. And you start going down, you're getting nervous because it's not familiar. You don't recognize the landscaping. You don't know which way you're going. You have no clue where this is going to take you, except you were told this pathway is only of good fortune. This pathway is only of self-worth and self-validation. This pathway is of worthiness and getting everything you want. And it's associated with empowerment, worthiness, of a sense of knowing safety and security, because you have this knowingness that everything you want is inevitable. So when you start driving down this and then you see some landscaping that looks very similar to the old landscaping of this road, you immediately decide, nope, nothing's changing. I got to turn my car around, drive back over here, and then go down this path. We already know that this path is guaranteed with that. But if I stopped using that route and I only use this route, what would happen to this one? Well, it wouldn't keep being manifested over and over. I wouldn't keep the experience alive within me because I kept driving down this pathway instead. I don't know if that was a really great analogy. I'm not the best with analogies, but I was like, fuck it, it came in my mind. We're rolling with this. So somebody must have needed to hear that. So when I choose the different pathway in my brain, I am killing off the old pathway, and we want to give juice and fire and um lighting up those neurons to the new associations of how you see yourself. So what we're doing is you're changing your self-image or your self-concept. You're changing how you see yourself in many different areas of your life. A lot of you have a poor self-concept with money. You're broke. You're not smart enough to make it. It's too hard for you. You're not one of the lucky people. A lot of you have a poor self-concept in love. I never get what I want. I'm not chosen. I'm not valued. I'm not a priority. I don't fucking matter. And then a lot of you have a poor self-concept of in the world, like I'm insignificant, that, the world is hard. I'm unlucky, right? Like people are so mean to me, like whatever it is. So you look at these self-concepts and then you can see how they're being reflected back to you. And those of you that have those self-concepts, that's why you're constantly needing the 3D circumstances to show you that you do matter, to show you that you are chosen, because you don't know this without evidence showing it. So it's not who you are. And so this is what the work is. This is why when you compliment someone who doesn't know they're worthy, the compliment only feels good to that person for about 5 seconds. But later on in the day, they will continuously feel not worthy. So then they will do things to seek approval of other people. So they get those moments of feeling worthy, because without evidence and support in the 3D reality mirroring them, showing them you're worthy, they don't know this as their truth. So this is what happens when you allow the current reality or circumstances to program you. And so you have to stop changing that. You have to do the things that I teach you, because I teach you empowerment. I teach you how to actually change an entire belief system so that you don't know, like you never get stuck in that again, and you actually create what you want and you keep it. And it just gets better and better from there. And the clients that work with me and listen to me, they go through these transformations and get the outcomes they want over and over again. I just had somebody who was changing their self-concept around money, and he fucking sent me a screenshot of the fucking cryptocurrency that he got was over $167,000. And a couple months before that, he had manifested a new business deals of, I think it was $25,000. So it's like, It really is that simple of changing your focus. It's just learning that when the 3D is showing the opposite or still the old reality, I don't let it program me. I don't look at it and say, oh, because it's showing me this, I still can't get what I want. Right. And that's really what the work is. It's not when you're getting what you want, that's when it's fucking easy. Do you know that you're worthy? Do you know that you're amazing and incredible? Because most of you say you do. And then the minute 3D reality shows you something that goes against that, you believe the 3D reality more than you believe that story. So then you don't know it to be true, because if you knew it was a fact, you wouldn't let outside of you program you. You wouldn't let outside of you control you. So this is what the work is. So if you really want to change, if you really want to be a master manifester, if you really want to master your mind and master your fucking life, you have to keep going within and do this work on yourself. And I promise you, it gets so much easier. This is how it gets easier. But a lot of you, you won't do that. Some of you do, and some of you are still in the state of pain and suffering and seeking your solutions outside of you. And you're going to people who are misleading you and not teaching you the right way. And you're not getting what you want, and you're delaying your pain. You're delaying yourself from manifesting the life of your dreams. You're delaying yourself from empowering yourself by actually doing the inner work, by becoming someone new, by leaning less and less on 3D circumstances. You're just giving up your power to 3D. You are your solution. You are the one with the answers and the solution within you. My job as a coach is to help you understand that, reinforce that, keep you accountable to what you say you're doing for yourself and what you want, and help coaching you through your blind spots, the shit you can't see. I get coaches too. That's why I keep leveling up. That's why you'll keep seeing me level up. That's why my life keeps getting in better, and I keep calling in better and better people and better circumstances. So I keep going within me. And anytime I notice that I'm looking at 3D and I'm allowing it to program me, I change that immediately, because that is not outside of me, is not fact. Because if outside of me is a mirror to what's going on in me, all I have to do is change what's going on in me and this will follow. So it's never a fact. It's I'm the fact. What I'm believing and deciding I get to have, and deciding what I'm allowing to control me, is my own fact. I hope that made sense. I love you all. If you want to work with me deeper, I have my Striking Brilliance coaching group where Maritza and I jump in and we teach you all these powerful concepts. We really dive in deep into mastering your mind, changing your mindset, your habits, your emotions, your life to really manifest it all, your belief systems. I mean, we dive in deep into all this stuff and really expand it on a way that you're not going to hear on YouTube, because nobody else is talking about it. And we would be excited to love you and support you in that. And we will see you soon. Bye.